Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Not Quite Prime Time. It is episode number 10. It is Chris, Jen, and Matt. Hey, guys. How are we all doing tonight?
Good.
I like your comb over. That's nice.
Like this. Well, I was going to put a hat on, and you'll see why I can't here in just a few minutes, okay? So that's why I'm holding off on that. But what did we get up to here this afternoon?
Oh, not too much.
Yeah?
Not too much, I don't think. Just watching the kids outside playing in the puddles. Lots of rain out there. So went through about three changes of clothes or something like that today, I think. So
was that just you, or was that the kids?
Yeah, exactly. It's just me. Yeah. The kids went through even more.
That's too funny. What'd you do this afternoon, Jen?
Well, I had a nice long nap, and then all of my curbside pickup orders were ready this afternoon.
Oh, nice.
So I got out and I went to Glass House and got my plants.
Oh, good.
And Canadian Tire to get some other things.
Very good, very good. I took Hallie for a walk this afternoon, and we went out, and Hallie is a dog that enjoys home field, if you know what I mean. Like
Yes, that's right.
never, ever does her business outside, outside, obviously, outside of our own yard. So we go for this walk, which we've been going on here for months, and we're in a area that we're not supposed to be walking dogs, and doesn't she pop a squat? Right it was a schoolyard. We're not supposed to be walking dogs through schoolyards. So she pops. I don't have anything, so I had to come home and then drive back.
Oh,
this is the second time this has happened.
Yeah, that's only 2 times in 2 years that she's been around. So now she's sleeping on the couch over here, sleeping her off. Well, I had to double back for a poop scoop. But yeah. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in here tonight. It's Not Quite Prime Time. It is episode number 10 on Not Quite Prime Time, and it's a virtual chief chat, and we've got all the chiefs standing by. It's Police Chief Gary Conn is going to join us here in a little bit. We've got Fire Chief Chris Case, who is standing by, and EMS GM Donald MacLellan is going to talk to us tonight as well. So if you have any comments, any questions, you can throw them there at the bottom, and we'll get to that here over the next half hour or so on Not Quite Prime Time. All right, show and tell, and it's my turn for tonight. Okay, so first of all, I want to show you this. Okay, guys, this is my first item. Let me see if I can. There you go. So I'm going to show you this. This is my shirt that I'm wearing. Very nice. I was wearing this today.
Yeah,
this is my Canada Strong shirt, and Collins Clothiers are the ones that have put this together. There's you see the website online, collinsclothiers.com/Canada Strong, and when you make a purchase, you can donate so much towards local businesses. So if you go to their website, collinsclothiers.com/Canada Strong, I don't know, can you guys see that? Can I pull it up on screen there?
Yes, or the website.
There we go.
Yeah,
So you can see that website. So you go to the website here, and you can order shirts, t-shirts. You got black, you got red, different. You got women's look there too. So you order one of those, and the money will go to support frontline workers. And they got some other goodies there too with Collins Clothiers. So that's the first one. All right, that's my first one, and we'll get that off there. My second item, okay, and there's a fear by doing this with show and tell tonight that I might kick Hallie into gear. Okay, so you guys talk amongst yourself for like 20 seconds because I got to get it. Okay, so hold on here. I'll get what I need.
Well, Matt, what's up?
Not too much.
Well, maybe you should do show and tell of all your things in your background.
In the background, yeah. Well, I got on the wall there all that ABCs.
Yeah.
So mostly just letters. I mean, obviously the deer head, which has been featured a couple times now with the antlers that look like popping out of my head quite often. We got a fork over there too, so that's the F. That's the represent there. An owl and a whale, so some things on there too. And then of course those Dutch shoes back there clumping, but they're representing the S on the wall there. So we got the S. That there's a leaf on there too. Actually, if you can see that underneath the B. And that's a pressed leaf. My wife works in horticulture a little bit and
cool.
Landscaping and stuff. So she's got a couple things kicking around like that. It's a pressed leaf back there. I'm trying to think what else we got on there.
Do you switch them out? Like, do you put a thing in for a letter sometimes? Or
not yet, but I'm trying to figure out which shoulder to point over here. The J up there, the kids just decorated that the other day.
Oh, nice.
So they painted that, and the Z's been worked on a couple times, but we're just working on getting some of those other things up there too. I'm sure that everything up there will eventually get sort of decorated and painted, but it'll take a little while probably.
All right, are you guys ready?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, this is my show and tell item. I love this.
Oh my goodness.
This is my
terrifying.
You don't like this? Come on.
Oh my
Look at the
goodness.
mouth moves and everything. Hallie. Woof, woof,
Oh my
woof,
word.
woof. I bought this. My son and I bought this, and we peed our pants the whole time. Oh, here comes Hallie. She wants to see now. Hey, Hallie.
Oh, you guys are making out.
Yeah, sorry. We bought this, and this cost me about $40, and I peed the entire time. Come, Hallie, it's all right. It's all right. So this is my show and tell. What do you think
Oh
about
my
this one?
goodness.
Huh?
How often do you take that out?
The kids always tell me put it away. They don't. Dad, put it away. You're embarrassing me. Okay.
It's crazy how like the mouth moves and everything.
I
Yeah.
love it. As you can see, Hallie loves it too. So, Hallie. All right, she's gonna go back to that. All right, let me take this off here, guys. Let me take
Oh
this.
my goodness. Wow.
All right. That's she's gonna run away with it now. So
Wow.
that's my show and tell for you this week.
That's
Pretty good.
crazy.
Yeah.
Where'd you buy it?
Where'd I buy it?
Yeah.
Jen, you should know that. Come on, it's your
The
store.
Halloween store?
No, Winners.
Oh.
Really?
Oh, even better.
No way.
Yeah. I got
They
that
have-
at Winners.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it
god.
cost me $40. All right, Tammy wants to know, Matt, what's under the K? What's under the K behind you there?
Oh yeah, that's that's a rainbow. That's a rainbow. Yeah, you can't really see it too well. But that's R for rainbow up there. So
Getting a lot of love on the wall
Nice,
or the
huh?
mask.
Good.
I'm not sure, but I love it. So, hey, Margaret, thanks for tuning in tonight. We appreciate that. And I see Kirsten is online too, out in Mitchell's
That's
Bay.
funny. Wear
right.
it in the store when they tell you to wear a mask.
That's what I should have worn at the liquor store today when I went for my monthly pickup this week.
Oh my goodness.
You'd have to change the picture on your ID.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, guys. We do have some Chiefs standing by. Much more important, and they're probably not going to be wearing masks here tonight. Let's see if we can get them all on tonight. So introduce, first of all, I'm seeing Gary. I don't see you, Gary, but I know we can hear you. Are you there, Gary?
I'm here.
Has the lights
we-
out.
We can hear you, but we can't see you.
Let me see if I can. What do I click on the share screen or it says stop cam? I would have assumed that it's running.
Why don't you push stop cam, and then you might have to rejoin if that doesn't work.
Okay, let me try it again. Here we go. I don't know why it's not working.
We might have to have Gary just in voice only. No
Ah,
offense. No offense. Hold on. Gary, you click around there. I'm going to introduce the other Chiefs here. So we've got Fire Chief Chris Case, who is with us here tonight from the Chatham-Kent Fire Department, and Donald MacLellan, who is the EMS General Manager, is there as well. Let's see. We'll pull Gary down. Gary will be working with that. Hey, guys. Good evening. Thanks for joining us here tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Good evening. I'm still recovering from the mask, so just give me a few minutes.
Yeah. No kidding, eh? Oh man, terrifying.
That's so funny. Hey, I'm sorry. If you ever get a call, guys, that there is a masked man running through a schoolyard picking up dog poo, that was probably me because I have to wear that. Gary, you might just have to be the blacked out box tonight, but that's all right.
yeah. No. All good.
But that's it. This is the look inside Gary's house tonight. See if we can get there's Gary's house. That's all we got for you.
I need that.
I'm just surprised here. I thought, Chris, in your background, I thought we'd have like a photo of the Queen or something. Is that what you got back there?
The Queen's outside in the office, so the Queen is hung up in
Nice.
the office there. Yes.
That's too funny. Chris, I told you we're going to have to start with you. Usually, Gary, you get the heat to start things off, but Chief Case, fire ban in Chatham-Kent. Are you the fun police? What's the reason behind that?
I thought you might ask us that. So, when the pandemic began, we, as you know, we do a huge amount of work. We have not just firefighters going to fires and crashes and rescues, but we also have firefighters knocking on doors, doing community safety work. We have fire inspectors going out, and we have Whitney going out working with schools and things. To ensure that we had social distancing and to protect the firefighters, we stopped all work. We isolated our fire crews in the fire halls, and they only go out in the event of an emergency, an essential service. And along with a lot of other departments and much of the province, we put a ban on recreational fires. So the farmers are still burning their stuff and working with their stations, but we put a stop on recreational fires just so that the firefighters could stay away from the public, and the public don't have to interact with the firefighters unless there's a real emergency. So that's the whole reason behind it. We're not trying to spoil anyone's fun. I can't have a fire myself, as Mrs. Case has informed me several times. And all we're trying to do is to just keep everybody safe during the pandemic phase. I can't wait to get things back to normal and not only be able to allow people to have their s'mores and their marshmallows, but also to allow us to go back out and do that great work where we knock on doors and we meet with the public. So in a nutshell, we're not trying to kill anyone's fun. We're just trying to save a few lives and keep everybody safe.
Now, Chris, is that your call? Is it the medical officer of health? Is it the province? Who makes that call?
I make the call, but as part of that call, I also talk with Chief Conn, I talk with Don MacLellan, and I also talk with Dr. Colby, as well as talking to some of our station chiefs. So it's not a decision I make on my own. We look at the figures, we look at the call volume, we talk to all the key agencies, and we try and do this as part of a team. It's a team approach to keep all our first responders safe and to keep the public safe. So it's just our contribution to the municipal plan to try and protect our community from the dangers of COVID-19.
Okay, Jen, you had a question there. What do you got? Is that the
Yeah.
screaming coming in from your house, Jen?
Yeah, it's the children in the cages.
No.
Um,
I'm over here.
Sorry.
We have a lot of questions coming in about burning leaves. Are you allowed to do that if you live like in a residential area? Like, what is the rules around that?
So there's no burning of leaves. If you go onto our Facebook page, Whitney Burke, our long-suffering public educator, is trying to put information on there about what is permissible. So if you have a small chimney, or if you have a propane device, or if you have something called an approved burning device, which I'm not going to go into now because Whitney will cover that, then that you're allowed to burn. But as for piling leaves in your garden and burning them and creating smoke, no, that currently is not allowed.
See, Debbie's got a question here, maybe more of a comment. She says, I set the fire alarm off on Saturday in the retirement home. Was hoping for firemen to come in and rescue me, but it was a firewoman.
Well, Debbie, I'm pleased to hear it. We've spent the past many years trying to improve diversity in our workforce, and I can tell you, we have firefighters now. Just firefighters.
Yeah, and you don't get to make a request when you call 911, right?
No, that.
Appreciate that question, Debbie. Thank you very much. And who else we got here? Dennis, hey, how you doing tonight? Donald, I wanted to talk to you. Obviously, when there's an accident or something going on at the house, or we need some medical emergencies, you and your crews are the first ones on the scene. What has changed with you and your procedure when we have to, when unfortunately we have you showing up at the house?
Yeah, that's been probably the biggest change in our world with our paramedic staff. A couple of things have changed since the start of this pandemic. The biggest thing is the comm center. So when folks get put through the dispatch center to get information on what's going on medically, they're asking certain questions that are related to symptoms around COVID-19. That helps prepare our crews to be situationally aware that, hey, this might be a call that requires a certain level of protection, just so that we can, keep those paramedics safe and we can provide the best level of care. We've had to change a couple of the protocols to how we treat people, obviously with the best interest of keeping everyone safe. So there's been some revisions around that area. And then how we collaborate with the hospital. We need to give them, proper heads up so that they can prepare and, direct us to a certain room if need be. So there's been a lot of conversations, a lot of great partnerships. Chief Case and Chief Conn, we talk quite frequently on how we collaborate on the front line to keep all of our personnel safe. And then other stakeholders, public health, Chatham Kent Health Alliance, and many others. So that's probably been the biggest change is the level of interrogation, and then what we're wearing for protection. So people are probably seeing us in gowns and masks and shields and all that sort of stuff. That's just to keep our staff protected, but it's also to protect our patients and their family. So we've been really grateful. I think a lot of our patients and family have been really cooperative in that new way we do business right now. But safety is the number one priority for everyone that we have to achieve.
So Donald, let's say I've got my dog mask on and my dog attacks me and bites me, and I have to call 911. Are you coming right in the door? Are you stopping? Are you asking me questions? Like, how would that work if that unfortunately went down?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So we do a 2-meter approach to our patients now, and we do ask that family do keep a distance so that we are following the social distancing aspect. But we'll go in, we'll ask a few questions from that 2-meter distance to get a better sense of what's happening, and that will help dictate to our crews what they need to do next, whether it's add more personal protective equipment on, or we can go further with our assessments and care if need be. So that's the biggest thing, and we really ask that our patients and family that may be involved in the care be honest with their answers, be accurate, because it's not like we're not going to not do something. It's just it helps our paramedics determine what they need to wear for equipment, so that we are decreasing the spread if there is a suspicion of COVID-19 as part of our care in that moment. As well, it helps us collaborate with our fire colleagues who are coming to assist us on certain calls. So sometimes we don't require them at certain points, or if they are coming, it helps us advise them in advance. Hey, we need to wear a certain level of equipment so that they're prepared coming through the door to give us assistance on those types of calls.
To ensure the safety of as many people as possible, if you have to go to the hospital for any reason, like a medical reason, should you go to the emergency room yourself and walk in, or should you call like the ambulance to take you in?
It depends on what's going on. As always, we do encourage the public to utilize as many healthcare resources as possible for non-emergency type situations, whether it be your family physician, Telehealth Ontario, or walk-in clinics, which I know are not as available as they were prior to the pandemic. But really, we encourage that. Now, at the end of the day, any life-threatening emergency, that's an immediate call to 911. And even still, if people are uncertain of what's happening or they don't know what to do, we're always there. We will always respond. So, we really do encourage that. For the non-emergency type situations, to really take a pause and try to find other resources to help. Get care or treatment if need be. But at the end of the day, the default is always 911, and we will always respond no matter what.
We got a comment in here. I should get all you guys on screen. Even Gary, you can hop in here too. Donna's posted this on our Facebook, and it's probably going to take up most of the screen, but it's worth saying here. Let's see if we can get it up. I want to pass on a special thank you to each of our guests tonight and their specialized teams, plus our 911 service. On February 6th, my husband suffered an MI and rested in our home due to the quick response of fire, police, and ambulance. Chatham's finest. 1 month in Windsor Regional and 2 weeks in Chatham. Excellent care received. He is back almost 100%. No one knows to experience the stress how very thankful we are for our men and women in uniform and special. I think it even goes on there, but that's all we got there. But appreciate it, guys. So there's a nice shout out here tonight. So that is much deserved for you and your teams. All right, let's go to Gary, who has never looked better here tonight. Gary Conn, who is the chief of police.
You're gonna throw something in. Better black screen than my mug, right, Chris?
Gary, we were taking bets on who would have the difficulty getting on tonight, and I think I won. So,
no doubt.
Gary, I wanted to ask. So, I saw an article this week: 20% drop in reported crimes in Ottawa. That was a story this week. Is that the case? Chatham, Kent-wide? Are we seeing that across the province?
No, you know what? I think it's different from community to community. Obviously, I'm not going to speak in regards to Ottawa, but certainly here in Chatham, Kent, we've taken a look at our crime stats and completed a thorough analysis over the past 6 weeks. And, really, Chris, we haven't seen anything that's unique in respect to any crime patterns that would suggest a direct correlation to COVID-19. Actually, overall, our calls for service have decreased by about 1,000 in comparison to the same time period last year. So, for example, in 2019, this same time last year, we had responded to approximately 7,500 calls for service. And this year, since the beginning of the state of an emergency, we've responded to approximately 6,500 calls for service. So I think it's truly unique from municipality to municipality.
Okay, I did see a post that went out this afternoon on the police Twitter account that domestic assaults are still are up right now. I'm not sure how that was phrased, but did you have any information on that?
Yeah, no, actually, you're correct, Chris. Although our overall calls have decreased, we drill it down a little further and we take a real deep look at every call for service. And although vast majority have gone down, we have seen an increase surrounding domestic related calls and family disputes. And you know what? I suspect as stressors such as losing jobs, financial pressures, and all those increases and related stress does have an effect on people, and it may facilitate in some of these calls that we're receiving in respect to family disputes due to having to self-monitor, self-isolate, and remain at home.
And while it's true, we're all at home too, and we're all a little bit on edge. So that makes sense. Kirsten says, "Pay your hydro bill, Gary." So that's awesome.
Hilarious.
I'll have
That
a
is
word
great.
with finance.
Hey, I want to go to Fire Chief Chris Case. Obviously, your men and women in the fire department are working in close quarters. Obviously, at the stations where they're set. What has the procedures changed with you, and how has that changed with what we're dealing with?
So as I said before, we effectively locked down the stations. So the full-time crews in Chatham and Wallaceburg, they come in at 7 o'clock in the morning, and very similar to Don's crews in the EMS, they have their temperatures taken, they get surveyed, then they do a deep clean of the station, and they only go out if they really have to. That then gets done again every time they come back from a call. They clean down the trucks. 7 o'clock at night, they do another clean of the station, take another temperature check and another round. Our volunteer firefighters continue to do outstanding work. They still come to calls. They're still serving their communities. But we've had to cut down on the amount of training that they do, so they don't gather once or twice a week, all 20 of them, because it's a large group. So through it all, the chief officers and the training group are working very closely. Don's been a big help to us, supporting us to make sure that we've got safe systems in place to make sure the firefighters remain healthy. And at this time, we can say that at the moment we've had no exposures and everybody is safe and well.
Matt, we had a story, was it earlier this week or was it last week, about some budget concerns within the municipality, just obviously with the way we're dealing with it. In your own individual departments, is that going to be an issue come budget time at the end of the year? I told you I wouldn't ask any tough questions, but maybe we can start with Gary here, since we can't see his face.
It's hard to project at this time. What I can say is we are tracking any costs associated to this pandemic. Right now, I can safely say that we're sitting well. We haven't had to adjust our schedule, haven't had to inhibit any annual leave. As we suspected, no one's taken any time off. Everybody is trudging ahead, full steam ahead. And I guess we won't really know until at the end of the day. We're still projecting. We know that this state of emergency is going to go at least until May 12th, but we don't know if there's going to be another extension or not. So I always say the devil's in the details, and I think we'll wait until this is concluded, and at that point we'll do an evaluation and assessment in regards to our finances.
Donald, along the same lines, has things changed in any way budgetary for you?
We've had to make some changes in our operation just in the response to COVID-19 to ensure that we're delivering a high level of care here. Our staff are supported and taken care of. So we've made some changes that way. We do work within our base budget. We try to find ways to make this stuff happen without needing to find other funding sources. Publicly, it's already been announced that we did work with our municipal partners in finding just some enhancements to our service delivery with having our supervisors reallocated within our operation to help support our team and our overall operation. And we're like Gary said, we're tracking costs. We're looking at projections depending on how long this goes on. But right now we're still in the thick of the unknown. So again, we work very closely with our municipal partners as well as the Ministry of Health because they are a funder to our budget as well. So we keep going down that road, and we're hoping that we see the light end of the tunnel sometime soon. But it's still unknown right now what's going to happen.
For sure. Fire Chief Case, what along the same lines are you dealing with at the fire department?
Very similar to Gary and Don. We're carrying on as business as usual. We have to track all costs. The province are interested to know how much PPE we've got, what we're spending. I will say that council have been very supportive of us. They were very supportive of EMS requiring the additional funding, obviously, because they need to change their operation probably more than we do. But overall, we have not seen any. We've seen a slight reduction in calls for service, but we're in the operational response phase at the moment. So we've got people working remotely. We've changed the way we do business, and we just keep an eye on the costs at the moment. So aside from buying some additional PPE and changing some of the medical equipment that we use to back up Don's teams, at the moment everything's looking okay.
Jen,
this is general for like all chiefs. The drives for the PPE that are going on every week, are you guys also receiving some of that?
I could probably handle that. We have our Tim Sunderland, who is the manager of the PUC. Under the emergency management model, different people in the municipality get different roles. So Dr. April Reedyke is in charge of our operational response to work with Dr. Colby. And Tim has taken on the logistics role, and he is the person who is coordinating and looking after our PPE. And we are seeing that PPE come in, especially the likes of the Bootlegger Brewery in Bothwell has provided us all with hand sanitizer, which is gratefully received. And at this time, whenever we ask for PPE from Tim's group and from the donation group, we're getting everything we're asking for. So we very much appreciate the support of the businesses and the community in Chatham-Kent. They really have been a solid supporter of the first responders.
Hey, Gary, you were going to jump in there. Did you have something?
I was just going to say we have a healthy supply of PPEs, but just recently, actually, just yesterday, we received additional gloves from the ministry. I know that they are tracking all of our PPEs, and on a weekly basis, we have to submit a report to the ministry in regards to our PPEs.
And Donald, are you guys all set with what you need along those lines?
Yeah, so prior to the pandemic hitting, we were trying to prepare for it with our stocks and increasing them. But as you can imagine, a lot of the news stories that were out there is we were getting sort of roadblocks with that, not just here, but pretty much every health sector. So the community donations, we've been trying to leave them for other sectors within the municipality or other industries. So we do have pipelines into the provincial health stock for PPE through Ontario Health. So, but we've also been very fortunate that we've our normal sources for vendors have been coming through with orders. So we are in a healthy spot right now, and we hope that does continue. Again, back to the point, we don't know how long this is going to last for us. So we are building as many stockpiles as we can. But everyone's been doing an amazing job community-wise for donations, and we have received some stuff. The hand sanitizer is an example. Very grateful for that. We appreciate everybody's contribution.
Matt, did you have something there?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a question for Chief Case, actually. I was just wondering, I might be jumping the gun a little bit on this one, but May is coming up real quick here, and we got the May 2-4 coming up, and, a big fireworks weekend. They've already said to some people, fireworks shows, probably bigger shows, are going to be canceled because you can't have those gatherings. Is there anything else on your end? Are you expecting more calls for safety reasons, or putting out a call for people that might be trying to do it in their backyard that wouldn't normally?
Well, to be fair, we're waiting. Everybody's waiting to see what the province does. So the minute that the province gives us an indication that the state of emergency is being relaxed, we're going to review our guidance like everybody does. All we're doing now is, and probably the same as Gary and Don, every morning we look at the numbers and we pray that they're going down, and we like to see them go down and stay down. So the answer I've got for you at the moment is we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, just like a lot of things right now.
I had a couple questions for I guess for Gary. The line that the municipality set up for reports of anybody not following the guidelines or being on quarantine. Are the officers the one that handle that, or who is the ones that have to go handle that and have to issue those tickets?
Are you referring to the snitch line? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, I was going to say that,
Yes.
but Mayor Canada doesn't like when I call it that. So
Actually, the people who are monitoring it are actually the municipality, and you can either go online and report it at COVID-19 enforcement at chatham-kent.ca, or you can contact them directly at the 360-1998 number.
Okay. Was it this morning, guys? We were talking about that speeder who was caught, I think, in the Detroit area going 290 kilometers an hour. And then we were reading and talking about, it seems that there's more speeding tickets right now because there's less people on the roads. People have the freedom to maybe give that lead foot a little more work. Are we seeing that locally, Gary?
Yeah, you know what? Just recently, last weekend, this week, we put out to the media a couple of people that we had stopped and charged with stunt driving, which is in excess of 50 kilometers over the posted speed. We haven't done an analysis surrounding HTA offenses, but we soon will. And I suspect that because there is less traffic, the data will show that, there's less people out there, the numbers are lower. But those that we are catching speeding, they are really driving over the good speed limit. I don't know how to put it. I mean, it's just the ones that we have caught. Yeah, they are driving really in excess of the posted speed limits.
Debbie's questioning 290 kilometers an hour. That's and that was in the Michigan area. So that's ridiculous. I don't even know my vehicle will go that fast. And then one last one here, guys. We'll let you go. Kirsten wants to know: are they ticketing people for being too close in a boat, for instance, or in a park, or walking on the beach? Gary, do you want to handle it?
Yeah, you know what? Kudos to our community. Over the last 6 weeks, the vast majority of the people that we have been interacting with, and I don't want to speak on behalf of Paul Lucina and his group, which is, bylaw enforcement, but, most people are obeying the law. They understand the offenses under this Emergency Management and Civil Protection Act, of which there are 7 orders surrounding, for example, social gathering, non-essential versus essential, the parks, the playground equipment. And we both, bylaw enforcement and police, we started the first few weeks with a graduated approach emphasizing enforcement. So we've given out a lot of warnings. We've responded to over 1,000 calls for service in regards to potential breaches in respect to these orders. And as a result of that, I know we've issued over 300 or close to 300 warnings. But that being said, there has only been 2 actual charges laid over the last 6 weeks. And one was in regards to social gathering, and that was at a private residence. And the second one was actually in respect to a non-essential business that Paul Lucina and his group, the bylaw enforcement officers, had warned several times and really left them no other recourse but to proceed with the charge.
All right, Jen, you had something there.
Yeah, I have a question for Gary. When everything lifts, stores are open, we're back to normal. Am I allowed to call the police if someone is standing behind me too close in the winner's checkout line? Because this has been an issue for me.
They're invading your personal space, right?
Yeah.
Too close. Just
Yeah.
like, you don't need, like, here's me,
Yeah.
here's the person. Like, you don't need to be that close.
You know what? The social distancing or physical distancing, they recommend 2 meters, which is approximately 6 feet. But everybody has a personal space, and on normal, it's approximately around 3 feet. So regardless if there were orders or laws in effect that suggest or that order that it's more than 6 feet, I would recommend to everyone, mind your personal space between individuals and respect that personal space.
So, Chief Case, back off next time you're in line, okay?
Yeah.
A little too close. Guys, we appreciate you finding some time here tonight. Gary, unfortunately, we couldn't get the camera to work, but I'm assuming you're in full uniform.
I am. Yeah.
Okay, everyone stand up on 3. Are we all wearing pants?
Well, guys, we appreciate it. Thanks to your men and women that are on the streets and are on the front lines. Hope everybody's still waving at you with all their fingers and giving you a salute as you do your work, and appreciate your time here tonight. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you later. Fire Chief Chris Case, EMS GM Donald MacLellan, and the voice of Gary Conn, the Chatham-Kent Police Chief here tonight. That worked out all right. I think I won the bet, though.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Debbie, support your local comedians.
Tell them that guy's worked for me in the past. That's too funny. That was great. Thanks, guys, for getting on here tonight and making that all come together. I did forget to tell you, I did have one other thing. So I don't know if you saw this. I posted this here tonight. So I did a little bit of artwork. So remember a couple weeks back, we had Mark Reinhardt on, who was doing this artwork around town. Nevertheless, we persist, and he is doing such an awesome job around Chatham-Kent right now with getting those little sayings out all over some community buildings. I went to work tonight as well, and I did a little bit in my shop. See, there you go. Yeah.
He's right though about the B. I remember he said the B was one of the most difficult ones to get. So
yeah. Oh, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. So that's what I did this afternoon. Nice. Appreciate it. Anything else, you guys? We didn't talk about what you're watching tonight. You guys want to get into what you're watching here before we wrap up?
Sure. Someone else go first.
I'm still watching I'm still going through the Michael Jordan thing right now.
Yeah,
I'm on episode 3 or 4, I think, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit down now and watch. Start on number 3. But have you guys started Waco yet?
Oh, I've already watched
No, I haven't.
all in one day.
Oh, so yeah, it is so good.
Really?
So good. I can't wait for season 2. Yeah, it's such a good, and it's I thought it started off slow though. You know the story, or hopefully you know the story, but I'm watching the first episode. I'm like, yeah, this just isn't grabbing you. But in the last 5 minutes, boom, and then it takes off from there. Yeah, it's really, really good.
Very interesting look at the FBI and how they reacted.
Yes.
Grinds your gears a little bit, but actually, if you watch the documentary Ruby Ridge, that's like the very first episode, the beginning, when they're it's not really giving it away, but when they're doing a mission in like I don't know where they were, but that's based on the situation that's covered in Ruby Ridge. And it's another sort of hostage situation with the FBI and how they handled it there. It's a good documentary.
Cool. Yeah. What are you watching, Jen, besides
Murder Town on Amazon Prime. It's a UK murder show. It's about true crime.
We should have kept Fire Chief Case on for that to see what he thought. Jamie's watching Deep Undercover. Matt, if you or I go missing, Jen is definitely number one suspect. So she watches all these shows. Yeah, she knows what to do with the body.
Yeah, exactly. She knows exactly what to do. That's for sure.
That's too funny. Tammy, appreciate it. Paul, yeah, you can make a song request, but no way I'm playing it for you right now because we can't do that.
Sing it.
That's too funny. Well, guys, that's it. We appreciate you for tuning in here tonight on Not Quite Prime Time, episode number 10. Thanks again to Police Chief Gary Conn, the voice of Gary. It was just fitting that Gary is the one that could get the camera to work. Fire Chief Chris Case and EMS General Manager Donald MacLellan here tonight on the Not Quite Prime Time. Any final words, guys? We all good?
Maybe he has, those privacy things that people put on their webcams, so like FBI can't watch them. Maybe he has, like one of these.
Just covered over top, yeah.
Because that's what I'm going to do next time.
Well, doesn't your mom, I know my mom, she just puts a little piece of tape over the camera because she's like, that's how they watch you. That's how they're watching you. That's what Gary does.
People have told me to do that, and I'm like, no, that's just rude. They've been watching me for my whole life, and now I just cut them off.
Jen's life is a true crime documentary. It's going to come out in a couple of weeks. That's awesome. Hey, guys, thanks for tuning in. Not Quite Prime Time, episode number 10. We will talk to you again tomorrow morning, bright and early on 94.3 CKSY.